Hey, how you doing? This is Kitch, and you are watching me play Factorio. Let's take a couple of minutes and talk about unloading stations. In the first couple of episodes, I was working on designing a station using circuits that did a couple of things for me. One, I was wanting it to unload multiple items to one single station. And by that, I mean, if we need 3 items, like iron, copper, and steel, I didn't want 3 stations. I think we can handle it with 1. So everything would be unloaded into the same station. The second thing I wanted to be able to turn off the station when it wasn't in use. I didn't want trains having to visit it all the time. But on the other hand, I didn't want it to have like a single line, a single fill-up line, so that, you know, if I requested 1,000 iron to be delivered to this station, and the train came and filled it up to 1,000, if an inserter grabbed 2 or 3 plates out of there, I didn't want to call another train to replace those 2 or 3 plates. I wanted a lower level that called the train than what the train came and filled the station up with, to give it a little bit of a tolerance. And also, I wanted to be able to broadcast if anything was needed at the station. Like in this case, stone bricks were needed. I wanted to be able to broadcast that on a larger circuit network so that I could summon a train that had that material to that station to fill it up. And that's basically accomplished just by sending that one signal out. So, yeah, I designed a station that did that. It technically worked. Granted, it wasn't very well optimized, and it also wasn't very scalable in that you had to copy a lot of combinators to be able to add additional items to that station. Luckily, I have quite a few sharp people that watch my videos for reasons that aren't really clear to me. I assume they're probably more laughing at me than laughing with me. But luckily they're there and like a challenge, and they have submitted a couple of designs that I want to take a look at real quick. Whenever I was trying to optimize mine, I kept running into a couple of roadblocks with dealing with the SR latch. And all these stations kind of behave the same with the SR latch, and it makes a ton of sense to me. And now I get it. And now I think I could probably, I'll know next time. We'll put it that way. But let's take a look at this middle one first. This one was submitted by Jonathan, or Josh. I'm not a pronouncer. You guys have the benefit of reading the names. I actually have to try to pronounce them. But yeah, one name on Discord, one on YouTube. But this is the design that they submitted. Let's take a look at it real quick. We'll start out here with a constant combinator where you set your request. The way I've designed the station before, this was the amount of items that you would need per minute to satisfy whatever was being built or processed at the station, the module that this station is feeding. So in this case, we would read that this station needs 100 stone bricks a minute and 20 stone a minute. And then it comes through here, very similar to mine, and does a couple of calculations here, except they're doing each value. It's not individual like mine was. But we're setting 2 numbers here. We're multiplying that number times 2. We're multiplying that number times 3. Now, I was calling this a low water mark and a high water mark, but this is how many items that I want to fill up the station with whenever a train comes. So I want to fill up to this amount. How many ever items a minute times 3? So this would be enough to run, theoretically, this station for 3 minutes. And then I want to turn the station back on again and call a train whenever there's enough items in there to run the station for 2 minutes. So realistically, this would probably be further out. This might be like, you know, we'll set it to fill it up to where it runs for 10 minutes and then call another train whenever we've used enough items to where there's only 2 minutes left. Something like that. But this is what I was calling the high watermark and low watermark. And then this is fed and combined with this combinator right here. This is taking the amount of items that we currently have at the station and running it through this arithmetic combinator and negating that value. So we're basically subtracting the amount of items we have in the chest from the amount of items that we're requesting, and combining that into the back of these combinators as an input. So the difference between what we need, what we have, being sent to the back of these. And this goes, these feed into this, which turns out to be the SR latch. And this is what I was missing. And what makes sense is I was using the SR signals, like a goober, like a good little circuit tutorial follower, to use that SR latch. But there's no reason that it has to be those symbols. So these designs are using the each signal coming in to set this SR latch. So each signal coming in greater than 0, we're going to output each. So as long as there's something coming through here, that memory cell is going to keep it until we get a reset signal. Well, let's just look at it here. The reset signal, or the one that basically turns the station off because we have enough, is a condition of each item coming in is less than 0. Now, when is each item coming in less than 0? Well, through the subtraction here, it's less than 0 when we have more items in the chest than we are requesting, in this case, from our high watermark. So we filled up past that mark. That's going to flip this combinator to send out a signal, because then each signal coming in will be less than 0. We'll output that through a negator, or turning that signal negative, and then that is what is actually going to turn off our latch here. So this is the signal that's going to reset. And our set signal comes in when each value is greater than 0, and that's being fed from our low water mark. So when is that true? Well, that is true whenever there are less items in here than what we are requesting on the low water mark. So that means that we've crossed that threshold, and that is what is being the S signal, the set signal, greater than 0 and being sent to the memory latch. Sent to the memory latch, because even when we fill up above that, we don't want to automatically unset it. We want to keep that value until we actually reach that reset value, which will turn the station off. Those outputs are being sent. So whenever we are getting that quote-unquote S signal, and that will work for either one of them, it's each signal's coming through, so anyone can cause that set signal to happen, and the reset will only come whenever both of those are satisfied. Whenever that is greater than 0, that is going to send out a green signal, and the green signal is what is currently enabling our station. So as long as that set value is there, that station will be open. When it's reset, that will shut the station down. And then up here we have our what we have versus what we need calculators. The what we have is coming off of this guy right here. It's just reading the high watermark and coming through and coming around and combining into that, goes into our each signal equals 2, and that's what's going to control our inserter filters. And that signal is also going out on the network as the need. That's going out, but it's going out before the SR latch, and that makes two things happen. One, the train's going to be active and ready to go. Take a look at the train condition here. The train condition is basically just waiting for one of those signals. So it's going to wait at this station till it gets one of those refill signals that's being sent out, and that's when it's going to go fill up. So yeah, this guy's he has that signal because this is before the SR latch. But it's being controlled by the fact that the station is currently shut down. Good, bad, I don't know. One of the good things about it is it looks like this station will go ahead and top off items, so that even though the brick isn't below that threshold, it's still being sent out there. So it'll go ahead and top off the brick if it has, even if the stone is what has sent it down here. I don't know that that's a situation. I'm not planning on having multiple items in a car for our materials, but who knows, we might. It's an added little bonus. We do get a lot of no paths on that. I mean, it's fine. It's fine if we're not looking at it. This one down here was sent in by Cornosian. Very similar idea, just a little bit different application. We have our item set. We have our high water mark and our low water mark going through right here. We even have the input from the chest coming in and being negated right here. Those are going into the back of, it's just two combinators in this case, but it's the exact same logic as the SR latch up there. Negating that signal, and it's the each greater than 0 output each that is controlling our SR latch. That signal is being sent into the back of this combinator and this combinator. This combinator is, if there's any signal coming in, we're going to send that to this station, and this station is enabled on anything greater than 0. So if any signal coming in is greater than 0, but it evaluates to false if there's no inputs. So if there's nothing coming through, that station is going to shut down. And then, of course, wait a minute. Oh, that's same logic, wrong combinator. And then the logic coming in here is the one that basically normalizes the input of the train and comes in here to combine that to control the filter inserters, just like the other ones. The logic that's sent out on the network is through this combinator on here, which is on the other side of the SR latch. So we do not get the signal. We do not get the top off. We don't get the no path because there's no signal going out until that low water mark is actually red. But we don't get the top off. Not that it's going to make much of a difference, but it's just something to observe. And then the third is a collaboration. This was Jonathan's combination of these two stations, and it kind of turned out in a little different fashion. There's a couple of optimizations here. Pretty much the same ideas as Cornosian's down there at the front. One optimization is for calculating the low and the high watermark. He made these negative numbers. And what that does is removes the need for this combinator as well as this combinator. So we're saving a combinator in that calculation. That's going through calculating their SR latch. That is up here. And one addition that he made here, enabled the station just kind of like below. It's waiting for the green signal to be enabled instead of the anything coming through. This combinator is reading our train contents and set up for the filter inserters. Have it, need it, grab it from the train. And this combinator right here is sending a red signal to the station whenever anything coming in is greater than 0. And it took me a while to figure out what was going on there. But if we look at this train is waiting at the unload station until it gets until the red circuit coming in is not equal to 0. So currently this output signal is 1. And so this will keep that train there because it's not equal to 0. That is being fed from the network, from the things that we need. So as long as there's something that is needed and the train has it, that is going to not send that signal. But as soon as that condition is met, that's going to immediately send a red signal to send the train off. So we're basically saving a second there, because generally what I would do is put like an inactivity of X seconds, and I believe if we look down in here, that's probably what it is. So this is saving us a second every single time. So as soon as this train's done, that red signal goes away and the train moves on. I don't know, I thought it was kind of a neat idea. And I was confused by this right here. But after I started looking at it a little bit, that ties into this red signal here. This is sending out a constant signal of t equals 2. And without that, the train would just kind of pass on through, I believe. It doesn't, I'm guessing it probably doesn't have time to stop and to register this signal for it to be sent out. So whenever the train stops here, it sends out an output signal of t because we're reading our stop train. T is some value greater than 0. I don't know, it's generally a pretty big number, but it's the actual ID of the train when it parks. So this is basically making that condition false until the train stops. And once the train stops, this t will no longer be invalid. So it's just kind of ensuring that the train will at least stop at the station. At least I hope I'm reading that right. But these blueprints are posted in my Discord in the Factorio Blueprints section if you want to check them out. I'm going to play with them a bit and see if we can't make them work for us. I'm actually pretty excited about it. Wow, we're 14 minutes in. Okay, let's go ahead. We need an intro, like right now. We'll do that, and I will see you shortly. Was that a record? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Well, I'm not going to go back and watch all the videos again, that's for sure. Yeah, we'll say it's a record. What was that, like 14 minutes, so many seconds? Yeah, definitely a record. All right, so I have moved our coal station here for the original intent of it was to basically supply coal to our future power supply here. I moved it over a little bit to the left because I want to expand it out for both permanent, semi-permanent, and temporary purposes. Let's remove you. I have a feeling that, that's going to be redesigned at some point. We'll keep that. And let's go ahead and make a copy of all this and paste that down there. So permanently, I'm pretty sure that I want to put in a station that is supplying water. One that we will use to... one that we'll use to send water off to our refining area once that gets done. We don't need to worry about that now because we don't have advanced oil processing. We only have the basic oil processing, but it's something to think about in the future. But since we're building it for that, I figured we'd also make it a station for unloading petroleum. So we'll go ahead and space that out, at least as a station for holding fluids. We can just unload petroleum right here. I'm wanting to do the refining up here by the oil. I'm convinced that that makes sense. And we'll send petroleum down here temporarily, at least over here to our bootstrap base, and we'll start making some sulfur and red circuits down here and make blue science. We've already got a good little contingent of engines over here, and I may just go ahead and start that back up again, just so we can get a nice good supply of those whenever we start making blue science. So yeah, I want to be able to fit a fluid station in here and then have our unload station be thrown in probably about right there. And that should give us ample room to get the circuits in there, since those are going to be simplified, as well as be able to run the belts out to actually supply the coal all around. That's the theory. We will see. I was also working on a circuit that we could use to make this be both a fluid loading and unloading station. And the logic to make that work with one car, so imagine like a petroleum car came down here full of petroleum. We unload all the petroleum off of it and then fill that car up with water. And then that guy goes back up and unloads the water and fills up with the petroleum. The logic to do that is actually fairly simple. Wasn't that tough to figure out. There's a bigger problem in there, and that all the fluids aren't used at the same rate, so there has to be some regulation in there. I don't know if we're going to be able to do it, but I think it's going to be fun to try. I have a circuit, and I meant to show it in the creative world, but I didn't get to it because I was psyched out. The fact that we were in there for 14 minutes really kind of threw me off. All right, so coal will be loaded down here. We currently don't need that now, but we do need power coming down here. And I'm not sure, is this energized? No, it's not. So we'll have to take care of that as well. Let's see, we can put that there. Probably something like that is going to make sense. Oh, and it's going to do that thing where it's going to be one off. Let's fill that up and do that. And let's take you over this way, just so we can get our main line energized. That should do it right there, right? Yippee. All right, so you are ready to take in petroleum. Where's my car? It's over there. I did make some things here. We've got pump jacks. We do have some underground pipe. Let's see. I made a little bit of a junk chest here. We'll come back and revisit this. Let's see. We can throw some wood in there. We'll throw all that in there for now. Science. Pistols. Why do I have two? Oh, I get one starting out. Okay, so we haven't had an additional death yet. We'll keep the railroad tracks. We need some stone blocks. Because I want to make some oil refineries. 5 of them. That'll be a good start. And then I want to grab some extra iron so we have that in our pocket because we might need some additional pipes. It's probable that we'll need some additional pipes. All right, so we cleared out that oil area. This is wide open. Let's try to fill in some of these holes here. The signals really aren't so important. We're not going to have a whole bunch of trains running. They'll get filled in slowly over time. The power is a little bit more important. A little bit of a hike over here, isn't it? All right, and I was going to do it like in between these two. So maybe something... I think this one right here is what I want to do. And the signals. Make sure that is filled in. And I think we should be pretty good there, right? Just grab that signal since we're here. We don't have any, like, big, giant, we don't have any big, giant, like, biter things in the way here, do we? Let's see, would that work? I think that would work right there. Unfortunately, our defense is going to be in the way. That's okay, we probably need to spread it out anyway. Let's place that up there. We're going to have to do a more systematic, robust defense. And I need to get on that sooner rather than later, taking into account lessons learned. And what has happened thus far. Oh, we got an extra wall there. That's what was throwing it off. And that should feed in. That's our personal station. All right, and you're not going to need any of this stuff because you are going to be a fluid station. But you're still going to be a station. All right, we'll run the car down there to finish that off. Need to remember to get a full power pole set coming up here to connect all of this stuff. All right, so this is going to be, for now, just a load station for petroleum, with the potential to expand that out to a water station in the future. And let's make sure we get you guys down. All right, so oil's over here. We have some pump jacks here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 11, 12. I was probably only counting the ones that are highlighted. Technically, this is 2 patches, I guess. Oh, well, this will work. This will work getting started. Let's see. All of you guys are coming this way. Why don't we just send them all that way? Learned a lot in the big series about fluid dynamics and doing fluidy things. I don't know how much of that is really going to be applicable in this particular playthrough, since we're not going to be dealing with the large, massive amounts of oil that I was trying to move through the pipe system. It's good information to have, though, and it may be applicable. We'll see. Not entirely convinced it's going to be that useful with these small amounts of oil. Let's see, we can take that one all the way there. Do something like that. To there, to there, and to there, and that should get all the ones we at least have set up now. Then we've got 2 additional. Can we make 2 additional? We can. Might as well go ahead and plan for it. Let's see, that's gonna end up like right there. And then right there. We're out of undergrounds, but that shouldn't matter. All right, there's bunches of oil. We should have 5 refineries. We'll get oil in from up there. We'll get oil in from over here. I think what I want to do is let's line it up like on this side. And we'll start right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's grab all you guys and get you down here. All right, and all we have right now is basic oil processing, so we'll go ahead and set that up. I'm kind of sad that we don't have to use our little memory devices anymore. We'll just do oil on the inside because I believe that's the way it lines up, isn't it? That's what I'd meant to do. It's not going to do that. Needs to go forward 1 tile. All right, and we can make 27 of those. And that's going to take a little bit of time. And we probably used all of our regular pipe too, didn't we? All right, but that needs to go out there. That should be all we need, though. We do have a little bit of defense. Can we get one more set of turrets here to the south? And even though I don't think we're fully defended, it's going to make me sleep a little bit better at night, I believe. All right, that's a good start, though. Where's my car? It's right there. We'll take the car back, making sure that we get not only the power poles, but the railroad tracks. Throw in a couple of these signal blocks. Said it shouldn't matter. We should only have one train starting out. Oh, there we go. Started that already? I guess we're continuing that already, technically. All right, can we go ahead and make a fluid car? No, we need some more pipes and steel for that. We already have an engine. A little bit of steel. All right, we can make a fluid car. And do we just need engines for another locomotive? And let's see, coal. Oh, we already had some. All right, that's going to mess up all of our train names because I did like copy and paste things, didn't I? All right, that's okay. Item. Oh, we can just select from here. Item raw fish. That's our passenger station. That's going to be an unload station. Most likely, item equals coal. And that's going to be an unload station. We will say item equals... No, wait, no, it's fluid equals petroleum gas? I don't think I spelled petroleum right. Eum. I think I did that last time. Eum, not ium. Okay, let's see. Train. Fluid car. We did get underground pipes. We do have regular pipes. Throw some fuel in here. Add a station. Oh, we don't have a name for that one up there yet, do we? What is the name for that one? Can we see the station names? A Fentress. That one. All right, it says you can't make it there. We must have a hole somewhere. Well, we can find out what it is. It should become obvious very quickly. It may actually be a signaling thing now that I'm thinking about it. Nope, it's not. We got some incomplete tracks right here. Let's just do empty cargo, full cargo for now. Item equals... fluid equals petroleum gas. All right, and I made that a mining drill, and that's kind of my distinction on the stations, the convention I want to go with, I believe, where the mining drill is saying that this is where we're picking up the resource, and the cargo wagon is a suggestion of where that stuff gets dropped. So dropping petroleum gas there, we are producing petroleum gas there. I don't know if I'll stick with that convention, but it seems like it makes sense to me. Okay, gas and oil. Just copy and paste that all the way up here. We will end up with more than 5 refineries, so I think leaving the underground up here will be fine. We don't need to optimize that. Throw some power poles between these guys. And I don't believe I made any lights, did I? Did we make lights? 54 lights. Let's make some lights. I also want to commit to making lights in this series and then completely forget to do it. Like I know, as usual. Take you down to here. We'll get you guys all good and powered up. Not going to bother with trying to make this look good. It's a fool's errand in the petroleum patch. Okay, and let's see. We've got a power pole there. Can we get both of those connected? We can. Is there a better place to do that? Probably. All right, that gets oil being produced. And that gets that hooked up. And that will feed in. All right. Lame. Right into there. All right, the train painter mod is turning our locomotive gray because we're filling up with petroleum gas, I guess. Interesting. I'd expect it to be somewhat purple, but hey, you know, that works. Boy, are you guys really this slow? I guess so. All right, well, that'll take a while. That will take a while indeed, but I think we'll be, I think we're still probably in pretty good shape. That being said, I want to make more oil refineries. Let's go ahead and move on here. Take this stuff back to base just to make sure our route is working. We are going to need... Okay, it did turn purple. Sweet. That didn't take very long, did it? All right. Well, we'll let that go do its thing. But we do have petroleum here at the main base. We can start making blue science now. All right. Well, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I will see you in the next episode where I guess blue science is going to be the name of the game. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Have a good one. 4 more refineries. 4 more refineries.